Well, welcome to week 5. Can you believe we have 4 weeks down already? We've got some great teams, some great matchups coming up, had some great games last week, and we'll cover all that. But, October is always Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the NFL. And so you see a lot of pink. And that's why this thing's up there. It's not a gay ghost. It's just to be in unity with what the NFL is trying to do, and that's support the cause of breast cancer. And so I stand strong with those who are suffering from breast cancer. I know Colin Kaepernick has stood up for what he believes in not standing up for the Star-Spangled Banner, making political statements and all that. But if you really want to stand behind Colin Kaepernick, don't kneel or sit down during the Star-Spangled Banner. Don't stand there with your fist up. If you really want to support Colin Kaepernick and his cause, draft him on your fantasy team. That is a measure of support. That's putting your money where your mouth is. This is nothing. Sitting down, that's nothing. Putting him on your fantasy football team and starting him, now that's something. Well, like I said, I want to talk a little bit about what we did last week and what's going to happen this week with the matchups, and even take a little bit of, poke a little fun at some of those things that could have gone better for some of our teams. First, we look at last week. We had 5 matchups, and first I'll start with Rob's team, Luck Don't Be a Lady, played Team Dietrich, and that was a fairly close match given the matches that we've had. And one of the things that happened is Michelle and Tim did not set their lineup to account for the fact that Julius Thomas would not be playing. Because of that, they left Jimmy Graham on the bench. Thomas scored 0, and Graham had 19.3 points. That would have given Michelle some more points, but still would have resulted in a 2-point loss, but just a much, much closer game than what we saw. And then we had matchups. I matched up well with John's team, Houday Nation. So Monkey Punch ended up winning by about 74 points, which was the blowout of the week. And that was helped, of course, by Julio Jones catching this a lot and then running a lot. We had other matchups. We had Tony and Bob, you guys going against each other, the boys and Tony's Chance. And I figured that would be a close match, and it turned out to be so. And one of the things, Tony, if you remember, I said, Gronk, he's coming off that soft tissue injury. Is he really going to play? And turns out he played, but he really didn't play. And so that was a significant difference in that game. And so sorry, Tony, I'm sorry that you lost there. But I hope Gronk does better for you in the future, except for when we play. Hey, by the way, tell Sue I said happy 50th. I know you guys are celebrating this weekend, even though it was back in August. And then we had the Silver Bullets playing the Go Browns. That's Ken's team. Ken is now 3-1. The Browns are now 0-4. But the funny thing is, this is where fiction and life really do meet. Reality and fantasy become one, because as the Go Browns are 0-4, so are the actual Browns 0-4. So that's kind of interesting. So Ken did away with Pastor Rick's team pretty soundly and maintains a 3-1 record. And then lastly, we had the Red Devils going against Mike's Steelers Nation. And I knew this would be a challenge for Mike going into that game, because he was losing D'Angelo Williams as a starter to Le'Veon Bell. And it proved that was actually the case, where the Red Devils pulled out a 35-point victory. So sorry about that, Mike. That puts you at 2-2. But, the way the league is right now, we have Rob's team, Luck Don't Be a Lady, at the top at 4-0. We have Ken's team at 3-1. And then we have 6 teams that are 2-2. And 4 of those teams meet up this week. So we have a long way to go and a short time to get there. Tony, I know you're 1-3, but you've got some good matchups coming up. I think you're going to do just fine. And Pastor Rick, 0-4. There's still time, I think. So let's look ahead. This week we have 2 2-1 teams going against each other. We have Steeler Nation going against Houday Nation. So we have 2 nations colliding. First, I'm going to say that, John, you have Cam Newton starting, and he's coming through concussion protocol just like Carson Palmer is for me. And you never know what's going to happen there. And so it would be a great matchup other than not quite sure what Cam's going to do. I'm going to give the nod to the wide receiver core of the Steeler Nation because they have Amari Cooper matched up with Derek Carr. That's a really good combination, especially coming in this week. And I think that given the balance there in the running backs, I do believe that Steeler Nation will come out with a victory. The second 2-2 matchup is the boys playing the Red Devils. Now, the Devils have Matt Ryan, who were on the bench, or he was on the bench last week. And even though, Michael, you still did well because, I think you won by 34 points, 35 points. Having Matt Ryan in Denver this week is going to be a challenge because playing in Denver against that defense, that's going to be challenging. Also, I think Blunt takes a hit for you this week only because Brady's starting. And Brady's going to try to light it up, I think, through the air. Given that, I believe that the wide receiving core, again, because we are a receiving league, we're a points per reception league, I think that the wide receiving core of the boys, of Brown, of Landry, of Jordy Nelson, they're going to come through for the victory. Then we have Team Dietrich, Michelle and Tim's team, playing Tony's Chance. Now, Michelle, you have a great team. Tim, you have a great team. Zeke Elliott and DeMarco Murray playing well, but they're both away this week. They're playing against defenses that they can run on, but I still think that that's going to be a challenge. Conversely, Tony, you've got Lamar Miller playing against Minnesota, and you've got C.J. Anderson playing in Atlanta. I think those are actually better matchups than Zeke Elliott and DeMarco Murray this week. But here's the wild card, Gronk. Gronk again. If he's at all healthy and Brady can get the ball to him, then I'm going to give the nod to Tony's Chance. So, Tony, picking you this week. Our fourth matchup is my team, Monkey Punch, playing the Go Browns. And I'm 2-2. The Browns are 0-4. But I'm playing Brady this week. I drafted him, and now he's actually getting a chance to start. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do. Hopefully he's got Roger Goodell on his mind as he's passing because that will make him play better. Also, my wide receivers are a better core, but the Go Browns team has Le'Veon Bell and David Johnson, and Johnson should have a monster week. Bell's always going to have a good week. So I think it's going to be really tight, even though the projections might not indicate so. I think it's going to be really tight. I wouldn't be surprised at all if I lost this week, but I'm still picking me. Don't know why, just am. And then finally, we have our two top teams going against each other. In Luck Don't Be a Lady at 4-0, going against the 3-1 Silver Bullets of Ken. Now, both of you guys have great teams. So here's the thing. I did a little number crunching this past week, and this is what I found. That the average number of points scored for and against each team in the league is, of course, the same, but it's 581 points. So if you score more than 581, you are above average. If you score less than 581, you are below average. As well, if your team gives up or is playing teams that are scoring more than 581, then you're playing a tougher schedule than the average. So here's what I found. For Luck Don't Be a Lady, Rob and Seth, by the way. Hey, Seth. Rob tells me that you're the one helping to really manage this team, so good job. But for Luck Don't Be a Lady, you scored 615 plus points, which is above the average by 34. But if you look at the other side, you have the easiest schedule as far as how many points are being scored against you at 463. So the thing that might come into play is here is when teams who are scoring better, of course, it might blemish that perfect record, but we'll see. And then for the Silver Bullets, Ken, your team scores at 523, which is about 60 points below the average. And also, the number of points that teams score against you is 110 points below the average. So as you guys are facing now each other and teams that are scoring like Team Dietrich, the boys, teams that are scoring well up into the almost 200s or more, it's going to get a little tougher, obviously. But for you guys, we have Luck at home, Andrew Luck playing at home, and I think he's due. But the running back matchup is I got to give that to Luck Don't Be a Lady. Ken, I know you have to start Wentz this week because Wilson's on a bye. He had a rough ankle and knee last week, but he still played lights out. And then because Odell Beckham is a head case, you're not sure what's going to happen with him. So given those things, I'm giving this to Rob and Seth's team, Luck Don't Be a Lady. So again, we have Steeler Nation, the boys, Tony's Chance, Monkey Punch, and Luck Don't Be a Lady are my picks this week. Now, on a serious note, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the NFL. And we actually have people in our league that have been touched by cancer. And you know who you are. And my heart goes out to you because I can't think of anything tougher than going through that or having one of your family members go through that. So we're praying for you, knowing that God is able to do all things far above what we can ever imagine. So good luck this week, and I hope that you take some time just to acknowledge the fact that there's a lot of people suffering out there, and the least we can do is reach out and pray. Take care.